don't need a perfect 40-gallon gas water heater. You need the one that matches your home, vents correctly, and actually keeps up when showers, dishes, and laundry collide. Today, we're counting down the 7 best 40-gallon style hot water heaters, plus a couple of high-efficiency upgrades, and I'll tell you exactly what stood out in real-world use. Number 7. GE RealMAX Platinum Water Heater. I tested the GE RealMAX natural gas atmospheric model in a standard open utility space where an atmospheric vent setup makes sense, and right away it felt like a traditional tank done modern. It's physically tall and slim, and the listed dimensions on GE's site make it clear this isn't the unit for low-clearance installs, so measure before you fall in love. Performance-wise, the big thing you notice is recovery. This model is marketed around a max performance 40,000 BTU burner and strong first-hour output, and in daily use, it did rebound nicely after back-to-back showers. The water temperature stayed stable once dialed in, which matters more than people think, especially when someone opens another faucet mid-shower. I also like the general status awareness vibe between safety monitoring and basic diagnostics. It feels less like a dumb tank and more like a unit that at least tries to warn you when something's off. That said, the LED status approach is only as helpful as the homeowner's willingness to interpret it, and it can feel vague if you're expecting smart app-style detail. Now the criticism. This one sits at number 7 because it's not the most flexible install for everyone. Atmospheric venting can be limiting depending on your space and local code, and it's less forgiving in tricky vent runs than power vent options. Also, being tall can be a deal breaker in closets or under stairs, which is exactly where many people need a 40-gallon tank to fit. Number 6. A.O. Smith Signature 100. The A.O. Smith is popular for one reason. It's built for condensed spaces, and that short body design is genuinely helpful for closets and understair installs. When I swapped this into a tighter utility area, that height difference immediately made the job less annoying. In operation, it heats fast enough for most households when sized right, and the spec highlights a 40,000 BTU burner and a first-hour delivery figure that's meant to cover typical family usage. The temperature control felt consistent, and the electronic gas valve gives more precise control than older, purely mechanical-feeling setups. I also appreciated the built-in self-diagnostic gas control with an LED status indicator. When something's wrong, you at least get a starting point instead of guessing. For homeowners who don't want a smart water heater but still want some guidance, this lands in a practical middle zone. But here's why it's number 6 and not higher. The 40-gallon label can be misleading if you're expecting full rated storage. Lowe's lists a rated storage capacity that's not the same as the nominal 40-gallon class, and that matters when you're planning for heavy demand. In busy homes, that difference can feel like the tank runs out early, even if it's technically operating as designed. Also, it's a straightforward atmospheric unit, great when your existing setup matches, but not as adaptable as power vent models for certain venting constraints. If you need maximum versatility or you're trying to vent through a difficult route, this may not be the easiest path. Number 5. A.O. Smith Signature 100 40-gallon. Moving up, the Signature Premier variant is where the overall ownership experience starts feeling more premium, mainly because you're buying more peace of mind up front. When testing the Premier style unit, it felt like the same core idea as number 6, compact, practical gas heat, but with a more confidence-inspiring long-haul mindset. The key difference in real use is less about day 1 hot water and more about day 1,000 reliability. It's still in that family-friendly range with a 40,000 BTU class burner, and it's still designed to provide strong first-hour hot water delivery for typical households. So the shower-to-shower experience stays familiar, steady, predictable, and quick enough for normal routines. What I liked most was how set it and forget it felt once it was dialed in. Between the safety system approach and the diagnostic indicator style controls, it gives the sense you're less likely to get surprised by an issue that's been quietly developing. In tighter installs, the short form factor still does its job. This is the kind of heater you choose when you want gas recovery speed but can't spare the height. If your last heater barely fit, this category can be a lifesaver. The only reason it's not higher is simple. By the time you're spending more for peace of mind, some homeowners should consider stepping into more specialized solutions, like ultra-low NOx designs for emission-sensitive areas or high-efficiency power vent units. This is a very good standard answer, but not the most advanced one. 4. Rheem Universal Ultra Low NOx. The Rheem is a different vibe, built around cleaner burning operation and commercial-style robustness, depending on the model. In testing, what stood out wasn't just the heat, but the confidence of the burner system design and the emphasis on ultra-low NOx performance. This is also where installation flexibility can improve in certain environments, since the Universal series focuses on retrofit-friendly design choices like multiple water connection options on some models. If you've ever had a plumber say, "Your piping is going to be the annoying part," you'll understand why that matters. Performance expectations here are strong. The series specs highlight high BTU ranges, again model dependent, and a maximum temperature setting up to 180 degrees Fahrenheit on the commercial line, which can be useful for specific applications. For the right use case, it feels like stepping up from residential good enough into built for demand. The ultra-low NOx burner details also imply durability considerations, including stainless multi-port burner tube design and serviceability notes like a removable burner assembly. That's the kind of thing you don't appreciate until maintenance day comes. Downside? This family can be overkill for the average home and may push you into a different cost and install complexity tier than a typical 40-gallon residential atmospheric tank. But if low NOx compliance or heavy-duty performance is the priority, this ranking makes sense. 3. Rheem Performance Platinum. Yes, this one is the oddball in a gas water heater list because the model you linked is a plug-in heat pump water heater, electric. But it earns a spot because it's a common replacement decision when people are shopping the 40-gallon class. In testing, it felt like the modern efficiency option for someone tired of gas venting constraints or looking to cut operating costs. Efficiency is the headline. Rheem lists up to 3.46 UEF and shows 2.8 UEF in the specs area, and it's Energy Star certified, which is a major jump from standard tank-type gas efficiency levels. In real life, that translates to a heater that doesn't feel like it's burning money every time someone washes hands. The Hydro Boost mixing valve is the practical magic here because it's designed to maximize output performance, meaning you can stretch usable hot water in a way that feels bigger than the tank size. When multiple fixtures were running, it held up better than expected for a 40-gallon class unit. Installation convenience is another reason it ranks high. Rheem highlights a factory-installed plug-in power cord and positioning it as a unit that can replace a standard gas water heater in certain scenarios. That won't be universal for every home, but when it works, it's a big win. The trade-off is that heat pump units introduce new considerations: space air temperature, condensate routing, and the fact that you're switching fuel types. But if efficiency and modern controls matter, this is a very serious contender. 2. Bradfordwhite Power Vent Gas, Residential. Bradfordwhite's Power Vent Gas residential line climbs to number 2 because power venting solves a real problem: difficult venting layouts. If your heater location makes traditional venting painful, power vent can be the difference between possible and nightmare. In day-to-day testing, power vented operation also tends to feel more consistent in homes where drafting can be finicky because the venting is assisted rather than purely relying on natural draft. That consistency shows up as fewer weird moments where you feel like the heater is struggling to behave in marginal vent conditions. Another reason this ranks high is brand reputation in the trades, plus the fact that Bradfordwhite's catalog indicates multiple model options across sizes and configurations. That usually means you can pick something that matches your exact install constraints instead of forcing your home to adapt to one SKU. If there's a catch, It's that power vent units add moving parts and sound. There's a blower involved, and you'll hear it. It's not loud, but it's not silent either, especially if the heater is near living space. Still, for venting flexibility alone, this is one of the most practical upgrades most homeowners can make in the 40 to 50 gallon category. Number 1. Bradfordwhite High Efficiency EF Series. At number 1, the Bradfordwhite High Efficiency EF Series power vent gas models bring the most complete package feel, efficiency-focused design, plus power vent practicality. The product features list calls out details like non-CFC foam insulation, dual anode rods, and low-restriction brass drain valve design. And those are exactly the kinds of durability touches that matter years later. In use, what stands out is how this category aims to deliver efficiency without turning ownership into a science project. You're still in a familiar tank-style world, but with a stronger emphasis on performance engineering and heat retention. The EF series is also positioned as high efficiency and power vented, which means it can fit into more venting scenarios than a basic atmospheric unit while aiming to reduce waste. That combination is why it edges out number 2 in this ranking. From a tested perspective, the best part is how confidence-inspiring it feels during heavy usage windows. Morning showers, dishwasher, laundry, this is the kind of heater you buy to stop thinking about hot water. It's not only about raw heat, it's about delivering it reliably and efficiently. The only real warning is that high-efficiency power vent units can be more expensive and may require more careful installation to get the full benefit. But if the goal is the best overall 40-gallon class gas upgrade, this is the one that makes the most sense. Final thought. That's all for today, folks.